so at peace right now. Must be something in the air. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Well, this next act has never been on The Tonight Show, or Saturday Night Live, or has even been seen on Comedy Central. But tonight, she is making her second appearance here at CSL. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the woman who put the odd in God, Michelle Love.
Do this every week. Really fun. I had a great time. It's kind of hard to follow that though. It's so mellow. I'm going to pick it up a notch. You know, I read somewhere that life begins where your comfort zone ends. I think it's on a coffee mug in the bookstore. And if that's the case, then I have never been more alive than I am right now. So this is my version of counterterrorism, the terror being my own. So every time Vinny would send out a reminder on email, my stomach would like clench up. So now, thanks to Vinny, I've got the core of a Pilates instructor. March Madness, right, everybody? March Madness? Yeah, for me, it has absolutely nothing to do with basketball. For me, March Madness is what's going on out there. Have you seen what's going on out there? Like every tree is bursting into bloom and bees are doing their thing that they do, pollinating, and everything's in bloom. There's pollen everywhere, like some kind of reckless aftermath. Like God truly is everywhere present, and it's visible in North Carolina. And then it's sort of mocking, you know, for us single folks, just kind of like Valentine's Day is, when I'm looking out my yard and sipping my coffee, and the squirrels are like, nah, nah. Everything's mating but me. I met in the park the other day, and we were talking about spring and looking at the blooms and everything. Kind of handsome guy, and he said, "Yeah, spring always makes me feel like a new man." And I thought, "Oh, maybe he's gay." And I realized, wait, I have the same feeling. I feel like a new man. Here's my card. My name's Michelle. Let's get together. We'll talk pollen. In keeping with our spring theme, I bought a treadmill. So I could get my, I'm about to turn 50 bikini butt on for summertime. And the way that came about was sort of sitting there watching my shows that I had taped, you know, after work, and I thought, you know what, if I bought a treadmill and put it right here in the room, I could watch my shows, while burn some calories, firm up a little bit, I could kill two birds with one stone. What a great idea. So I ran out, I bought the treadmill. What is it about best intentions that they don't instantly come to fruition, that you have to work so hard at them? So now I've got this giant contraption in my living room, and I thought, well, at least if I have it, I can legally increase my intake of chocolate. I mean, I just don't feel as guilty taking 2 pieces. So, but every time I walk past this thing, it's like mocking me in this shrill, like treadmill-y voice. Like, ew, I can burn calories. If I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, blah, blah, blah. So I say to it, like, shut up. So there's been a little bit of that going on in our house right now, this thing mocking me. But I do intend on, as soon as this is over, I can actually get back to my life, and I can start working out on my treadmill. But I did discover the wellspring of youthfulness for a little balance. I have a lot of nice, well-meaning people that come up to me and say, like, oh, but kids help keep you young. No, they don't. Kids make you haggard, like Cinderella before the ball. It's young men that keep you young. And I can attest to that. Recently, after one sort of long, sleepless young man night, I went to the mirror the next morning, I look in the mirror, and what do I see looking back at me but an Oil of Olay ad? It was me. Less wrinkles, skin all taut. I was like dewy. Really, I was. I only have had one chin. I mean, this guy was amazing. It works. Young men keep you young. I have nicknamed him Regenerist. So dalliances, while they may be fun and all, kind of like a ball of string to a little kitten, alas, I am a lion. And while it's fun, it gets a little dull, and I would really like to, and I'm forever open to finding the person that is my person. The person that can put his arms around all of this lioness, not just the fun, funny stuff, but just all of it. And I'm talking here big love, big reciprocity, big communication. I know I'm asking a lot. Because I'm specifically speaking of men, although I would, really, I'm wide open. So as open as it gets. So I really want to find that person that can put his arms around all of me. So if anybody has seen the Rubber Band Man, please tell him that I'm available and I'm waiting for my embrace. Some of you may have met previously here or heard me talk about my Neanderthal man. The person that I sometimes dub boyfriend, who lives in Florida, and he comes up here every 2 to 3 months to visit and help me work my Science of Mind stuff 24/7 while he's here. He was here a few weeks ago, and as usual, we had a falling out over unmet expectations again. And trust me, anyone in this room, you would have had the same exact expectations that I had. So rather than just listening to the clock tick while he attempts to express his feelings and his thoughts, which sounds something like, I decided I would take the high road and I was going to start cooking. So I walked in my kitchen and decided I'm going to cook every freaking thing in this kitchen. So I don't have to deal with that. I'll just distract myself. And it worked, I'm telling you, incredibly therapeutic. I spent 3 hours chopping, dicing, slicing. I had the, what do you call it, the thing whirring, the food processor whirring, and best of all was the chicken breast, which I pounded into oblivion until it became like part of the countertop. It actually works. I mean, when I was done after 3 hours, we had this great meal. I had 0 expectations, which is good for everybody. It was touch and go for a little while, but the chicken, seriously, it saved him. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, piss me off, 5-course meal coming at you. So they say that you can love anyone depending on how low you're willing to stoop. And I know it's true because I've got the slithering scars to prove it. Anyone taking any workshops here with Rev D? Any classes, workshops? Clap! Isn't it great? I know exactly how you're feeling. Been there myself, and it's like you're just so centered, standing in your center, vortex is spinning around, everything's great, you're demonstrating, you're doing your mantras, you're saying your affirmations. Okay, now, anybody ever skip a few months? What happens? What happens with that? I can speak for myself. It's like standing on the, like I just realized I was standing on a 3-inch ledge and I took a step, like, oh my God! Get me back in those classes. I don't know, it's like the vortex comes to a screaming halt. So, if you're in them, stay in them. A friend of mine, Tom, who's now deceased, I won. He once said to me, Michelle, sometimes it seems to me that you're swimming upstream through shit, like some kind of little cosmic salmon. Oh, well, if that doesn't just sum up the total of my life. Oh, and one more an update I wanted to give you for people that have been in the classes with me over that 2.5-year period of unemployment where, that was fun, if you remember any of that. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update, and that is that I've been at my job now almost a year. It's going great, bought a new car, my kids got to stay in the same school, I got to keep my house. Everything's going really great with it. We are finally, financially, in the black. It's been awesome. I hope it's true what they say, that once you go black, So, I was wondering that if cleanliness is next to godliness, what's next to that? So, I'm thinking horniness, because truly it lends itself to the ability to actually see God. And I've never ever in my life seen God while vacuuming, dusting, or doing the dishes. Pretty sure that it's horniness. Okay, for those of you who don't know it, I'm a shapeshifter. And I'm not talking about the Elaine Harris, True Blood type of shapeshifter that turns into like a werewolf once a month or whatever. No, I'm the real deal. It all started at like age 41, where my weight stayed exactly the same, but my body started rearranging itself to some kind of like palm container. Have you seen those little green containers? And I figured that my organs were just moving around, like getting comfortable for the downhill. So, I guess you could say I'm in the lava lamp years of my disease. But this little dance with gravity that we do, I mean, I think about gravity a lot. I don't know why, although I do spend a lot of time in my car with my job. But I think about the force of gravity a lot. And like from the very moment that we're born on this ball of mud hurtling through space, it's kind of cool in the beginnings. We're just like laying around. We're not defying anything, but then all of a sudden we get the idea of like, let's crawl. And then let's stand up and even maybe crazy, walk upright. So, but by doing that, walking upright, all we are doing is a little series of like mini falls before the other foot drops. And so, but with aging, the way that gravity starts affecting us, I mean, first it's like the boobs start to go, which my son the other day called boob sacks. I don't know where that came from. But first it's the boobs, then all of a sudden we get like maybe another chin or two, and then the buttocks just sigh and release. And then our knees get a little bit tired, and pretty soon this thing called gravity wins. It pulls us 6 feet underground. The crazy thing, we decide to come back into bodies and do it all over again, like this time, I'm gonna win. So my mom, which some of you have heard of before, you've heard of Janet, I've done her previously, even just walking down the hallway. She's kind of like she's like a Donna Reed type, but she has that sort of quirky, I used to be a stewardess twist, you know, so she's got a little of that going, but she has phrases that she said throughout my life, and as they say, you know, you will repeat the things your parents say, you know, it's true, but her phrases have completely different meanings for me. And some of those are, one of them is, oh, when you're in town, give me a buzz. So with our generation, totally different meaning. It's not the same meaning at all. Or, your father and I were 3 sheets to the wind. She was kind of buzzed, I guess. For me, that was a description of the night my first son was born and a really stormy camping trip. Another one was, that's just not my bag. For me, spoken to airport security as they're rummaging through somebody's luggage and pulling out a leather riding hood. I think about, I don't know if you've ever wondered about how our kids have gotten like this overprotectiveness. It seems like it happened overnight, but I know it's a long time in coming. But compared to the way we were when we were kids, I'm watching my son ride his bike down our little tiny cul-de-sac with his helmet and his knee pads and his elbow pads, his reflective clothing, protective shoes. I was like, for God's sakes, you know, when we rode bikes at that age, I would go 20 miles into the next town, no sidewalk, wearing no helmet, because they didn't exist, wearing a halter top and shorts and like Dr. Scholl's. Remember those? Little wooden sandals? And going even further back, I'm thinking about a time that we were swimming, my cousins and I, swimming in a canal next to my grandmother's house in Okeechobee, Florida, which is a whole other routine. We'll save that. But we used to swim in this canal, and my grandmother, in her protection, would sit on the dock with her rifle. And we all swam around, and suddenly she'd yell out, "Gator!" And we'd all jump up on top of this little dock and get out of the way, so she started shooting with her rifle, shooting this gator. cue to go in and have a popsicle. It's our break before we jump back in again. So, I don't know, our kids are kind of missing out, I think. Overprotected. There is one place where I think that God could be just a little more attentive, a little more present, and with that is premenopause. I know that some of you have already gone through it, you're smiling. And some of us are in the thick of it, like I am right now. Last weekend, I decided to take a vow of silence. I woke up on Saturday morning, and I had the mind of a fire ant. Like, if I even open my mouth, flames are gonna shoot out. And my kids are too old for those fire-retardant jammies, so they were completely vulnerable. So I said, I'm gonna take a vow of silence. You notice I wasn't in church? I was protecting all of you. I don't want to be the dragon lady of McIntyre Lane, so I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. It actually worked. I did a really good job. My kids would talk to me, and I would just go like, they were like, oh, mom's in her angry face. It's all hormones. What do these hormones look like? They're like piranha? I mean, that's what they feel like. Well, unfortunately, this carried on over into Monday, and I'm at work. I am sitting in front of a client, or a prospective client, who I've never met before in my entire life. And a half an hour into talking about insurance, I start having the mother of all hot flashes. I mean, I have got sweat is dripping off of my forehead, and I'm trying to mop it with my hand, which isn't very absorbent. I'm smearing my makeup, and I was like, holy shit. I'm pulling at my collar. I'm just like, I need, and I'm starting to wonder how inappropriate would it be if I did remove my clothes, because I'm pretty sure I'm dying. So I finally realized, okay, this guy's not stupid. He obviously can see what's going on. I might as well just address it head on. So I said, I'm really sorry. I know we've just met, but hormones don't care about things like that. And I am having the mother of hot flashes right now. So if I should suddenly, like, spontaneously combust, which is how I'm feeling, please tell the medics they can tell my mother what happened. She's going to want to know why there's nothing left but ashes. With that, he stood up from behind his desk. He's laughing. You know, he stands up from behind his desk, so I stood up, because that's what you do in a meeting. And he puts his hand behind my back, and he's like, let me walk you out. So, I guess I won't be getting a that account. So if at any point tonight I start ripping off my clothes, it's one of those hot flashes, but please trust that it's medically necessary and bear with me. So I think it was Thomas Jefferson who said, never ever end a set with a really gross story, but, oh wait, maybe it was Seinfeld. I'm going to do it anyway, because I'm in that kind of defiant mood. That fire ant thing is still sticking with me. My little story here, it was a couple weeks ago, and I was walking out of the bathroom. I was home alone, walking out of the bathroom with my bathroom assistant, the iPhone. And as I walked out, my youngest son comes running through the door with a neighborhood boy. And I thought, oh boy. So I go in another room, and all of a sudden I hear all this commotion. Something about like a wall of stink, and my eyes are burning, and oh my God, they're choking sounds. So I'm like horrified now, standing in the kitchen because he's got the neighbor with him. So, and then I hear the little neighbor boy say, dude, let me smell. So I'm in the kitchen now where there's like this big silence, because any little girl in the universe never ever would have said that. I've learned from my friend's mistake, I'm going the other way. This is a guy thing. So there's like this silence, and all of a sudden, ooh, I hear all these noises again, oh, the walls stink again, oh my God, they're exchanged, it goes on and on. So I'm thinking, all right, you know what, I'm just gonna have to own this completely. So I come walking out of the kitchen, walked over to the two kids standing there looking at me like I'm God, like I could make it stink. And I start pounding my chest saying, Mommy make big stink, Mommy make big stink. I can't describe to you the look on that little boy's face, but I can tell you it was totally worth it. And I'm pretty sure that my status as a neighborhood mom, nay, a human being, has been elevated to some really high place right now. what can I say? I mean, philosophically, I guess I stink, therefore I am. Thank you, everybody. We have a HBO special in like 15 years. Thank you.
Michelle Love, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're talking about all this age stuff. Thank God I have my defense on. I peed myself. Well, before we bring tonight to a close, I would like to, once again, everybody give our talent an incredible round of applause. For sharing their selves, their heart, their time with all of you. I want to thank Reverend Denise for the honor of allowing me to share my talent and for the